on actually having more confidence in my voice and myself. So I'm Lauren, and based on the research that I did in the class from SurveyMonkey, everyone in here has heard of some form of diabetes. There's 3 different forms of diabetes: gestational diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and type 1 diabetes. Today I want to talk about just type 1 diabetes. I have done research on this subject for over 5 years, and the main reason is because 9 years ago I was personally diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So the purpose of this speech today is to just inform you of exactly what type 1 diabetes is, and hopefully by the end of the speech you'll understand a little bit more about the disease. So I want to talk about what it is, what causes it, and how it's treated. So firstly, what is type 1 diabetes? Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease, and as Megan explained in her speech, an autoimmune disease is when one's own immune system attacks itself. So according to Michael P. Morgan, Gilbert S. Owen, and Massimo Pietropaolo from the 2008 Mount Sinai Journal of Medicine, type 1 diabetes occurs when one's own immune system attacks the pancreas. And in the pancreas, there's insulin making beta cells, and the insulin is a vital, is a vital hormone that actually breaks down the glucose that you eat. And as you can see in the diagram behind me, it kind of just explains exactly what happens. Your body breaks down the glucose, and then since your pancreas makes little to no insulin enters the bloodstream, and then it can't get rid of all the glucose that you eat, and so it can't get through the system, and it ends up building up in your blood veins and making one really ill, eventually leading to type 1 diabetes. So now that we understand a little bit about what it is, what causes type 1 diabetes? There's actually no known one cause of what exactly causes it. According to Salvia and Saranine from the European Journal of Nutrition, one interesting cause is they believe that when an infant is introduced to cow's milk too early, instead of being breastfed throughout their full infancy, it can lead to type 1 diabetes. They discovered that out of all the kids who became type 1 diabetic, more than half were early introduced to cow's milk. In addition to that cause, they also believe that genetic plays a big role. So if someone in your family has type 1 diabetes, it's a possibility that you can get it. So now that we understand a little bit more about what causes it, how is it treated? Since there's no since there's no cure for type 1 diabetes, all you can do is treat it. So according to the Mayo Clinic, besides upkeeping a healthy lifestyle, eating right, dieting, and exercising, one must go through insulin therapy. Since the body can't produce insulin, a diabetic has to find a different way to get the insulin. So one important part of insulin therapy is checking one's blood glucose levels. As you can see behind me, this is just a picture of a basic monitor where you take a small blood sample, put it on the test strip, and then it gives you a number, and then you can take insulin according to the levels of your blood glucose. And how does one get the insulin? There's 3 different main ways for someone to get insulin. As you can see, there's a basic needle and syringe, as behind me on in the left corner, sorry. And then you can also get it through an insulin pen. An insulin pen is about the size of a pen, and that's instead of having an ink cartridge, it actually has an insulin cartridge in it. And then the final way, which is the most common way, is through an insulin pump. An insulin pump is has about a quarter-size little site that you put on your skin that sits on top of the skin and has a tube that actually sits inside the skin. And then it hooks up to a little device about the size of a cell phone. And in that cell phone, you just input all the information you need to, and it actually sends the message through and gives you the insulin that way. So that is just a basic rundown of how diabetes is treated. So today I talked to you guys a little bit about what type 1 diabetes is, what causes type 1 diabetes, and how it's treated. So hopefully you learned a little bit more about exactly what it is. If you have any questions, feel free to come and ask me, and thank you.